Welcome to the Discount Property Investor Podcast, where we show you how to buy real estate at a discount so you can create wealth over time and income today. Our mission is to share what we have learned from the experience of others and help you make more money investing like a pro. We want to teach you how to create wealth by investing in real estate, the Discount Property Investor way. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, guys, welcome back. Discount Property Investor Podcast. I'm your host, David Dodge. I'm brought here today with two local guests in the St. Louis market, Kathy Helbig and Steve Strick. Say hello.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
How are you?
Hey, guys. So we just always want to remind you guys, if you're new to listening and viewing, check out the first 10 to 15 episodes of the podcast to learn about wholesaling houses, and also discountpropertyinvestor.com, as well as the free wholesalecourse.com. We highly encourage you to go check out the free course. It has everything that you need to get started in wholesaling houses in your backyard today. So, guys, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So, Kathy and Steve. Kathy is a beast, a local real estate beast. She does retail listings,
Yes.
for the most part, and she has a huge team.
Yes.
How big is your team?
Well, I have a brokerage, and in the brokerage we have about 16 people. On my immediate team, I have about 12.
You said 16,
16
and then 12 on the
immediate sales
team. So
team.
what's the difference between the 12 and the 16? Who's the other four,
So,
if I can add?
so
right?
I've
Is
been
it
in the
four?
business for 20 years.
Okay.
And over time, obviously, I've built up a business and built up repeat business and referrals. So my Kathy Helbig group team services those clients, as well as works under me to use my brand to help attract more business for themselves. I also own Experienced Realty Partners, which is
That's
full
new,
service.
right?
That's
Exactly,
Congrats.
yeah.
I've been seeing some
Thank you.
advertising on that.
Thank you. Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I previously owned a Keller Williams franchise. I got out of franchise life.
Sold it?
Thank the Lord. Yes.
I remember we had a conversation a couple
We
months back
did.
about
Yes.
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Good.
Sold my shares to that. Opened up a boutique independent firm in the Chesterfield area.
Mhm.
And so now I'm full service either way. So you can either be an agent that, if you're the right fit, can work on my team underneath my guidance, underneath my branding, underneath our lead generation programs, that type of thing. Or if you want to do your own teams, or you just are an individual person that doesn't want to
Cool.
quite have the
So
accountability.
you
of teams,
offer them the
Yes.
ability to come work with your
Either
team,
way.
or you're just the brokerage,
just the broker.
to where they can just be an agent.
Correct.
And then that's awesome.
Just like any other brokerage, where you have your teams within the company and then you
Right.
also have your individual agents.
Absolutely. I
Right.
love that. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So how long have you had the Kathy
The-
Helbig the experience, or is the name
The Experience by the Kathy Helbig Group
Okay.
is my sales team.
Love it.
Yep. And that's developed over the last 18 out of the 20 years. So I really started a team before anybody was really doing it,
Right.
and before I knew what I was doing
Right.
18 years ago. Experienced Realty Partners just was born on December 29th.
Holy cow. So it's
Mhm.
super
16.
new.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Congrats.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
know. I
exciting.
see Kathy's advertisements and her signs all over town.
Mhm.
And, I knew of you before I knew you, obviously. Your reputation preceded you, which was great.
That's good.
And,
I
one
think.
of the best and biggest agents in the St. Louis area. So I'm honored to have you on the show today.
Thank you.
And then, of course, Steve. Steve is a lending partner. He works at Gershman Mortgage,
Mm-hmm.
and he runs is it the Steve Strick Group? Is that
The
name?
Strick Group,
Strick
yeah,
Group. Okay.
absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about what you do, Steve.
I'm basically in the residential financing side for 1 to 4 units. So we're considered to be in the mortgage business, if you will. I work for a company called Gershman Mortgage. We've been around for a little bit over 60 years. We're the oldest privately held mortgage company in St. Louis.
Wow.
So with that tenure, we like to feel like we're one of the most trusted within the area. That being said, we haven't partnered with anybody. We have not been bought out. We've never been in trouble. We have some of the cleanest audits in the entire area. So that goes a long way with our clients. Within Gershman Mortgage, we do have that strong corporate background, but I also have my own group, my own lending group
Right.
within Gershman Mortgage. And right now there's 11 of us. We've got 7 loan officers, and then we've got 4 staff. We're actually bringing a couple more on this summer. So, we're growing quickly, and we're just servicing all of the residential financing needs for 1 to 4 units with basically every program that you could imagine: FHA, VA, USDA, conventional jumbo programs. We even have first-time homebuyer programs that can get you in with 0% down.
I love it. I love it. So I think, whenever we have each podcast episode, we like to kind of have like a topic. And honestly, I didn't have much of a topic coming into this episode, but I know the topic that I want to run with now.
Perfect.
Partnerships.
There we go.
And it's building in groups.
Yeah.
So we did a previous podcast, and we called it "Teamwork Makes the Dream Work." We talked about our team here at the office, but in this episode, I want to talk about branching out and using other, third-party people to help build your own team. So you two have done that with your business, and then also by putting together a group, which you've done years and years ago. Right. And you've recently done that as well, where you now have the Strick group, and you're still with the Gershman company, but you have your own team.
Sure.
Which is awesome. And, me as a wholesaler with the Discount Property Investors, we do a lot of work with other retail agents as well. So we get a ton of leads from retail agents that, they may get a call from a buyer or from a seller that's looking to sell their home. Mm-hmm. And that seller may have a home that doesn't really make a good listing. Mm-hmm. The agent will come in and they'll say, yeah, you need to do some fixes or some cleaning or whatever the case may be.
Change the carpet.
Yeah. Right. And the seller may not be interested in doing any of that stuff. Right. And the agents will call us because they know that we're cash buyers and we close quick and we buy as is. So those are the 3 advantages of working with a wholesaler.
Sure.
And then, I'm very transparent when I go out and I meet people. I tell them the disadvantages usually first. I say, listen, I'm not a retail buyer. If that's who you're looking for, you need to call somebody like Kathy.
Right.
And she can get you that price. And the other disadvantages, would be of working with me is that I'm not going to, pay you the full price for it. However, the advantages of working with me is I'm going to pay cash. I'm going to buy it as is, where you can literally pack a suitcase and leave, and everything left behind is my problem. And you don't need to fix anything.
Right.
And we even pay people to move sometimes if money's real tight. Mm-hmm. And, there's not much equity in the home, so on and so forth. So there are those advantages. But I guess what I'm getting at is we get a lot of business from agents who say, I don't really want to list this home. And if I did, it may sit, so on and so forth. And then we pay them the commissions, by just bringing us the lead. We'll either pay them a finder's fee, or just the commissions.
Sure.
So, and then additionally, we use hard money lenders as well, transactional funders to help with our business. But I just wanted to kind of ask you guys a couple questions about, some of the third-party team members that you're using. Mm-hmm. Obviously, let's start with your two's connection.
I think that's the best place to start, and Kath can really break it down a little bit better than I can because she's been in business for 18 to 20 years, and she's had, let's call them relationships with vendors. Right. We've always had relationships with vendors, and recently we've changed that terminology and we've gone to partnerships.
Right.
Because there is a big difference.
Change the terminology though. It's no longer It's no longer just having
here's a vendor.
Agreement,
what,
a vendor.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, hey, this
what
is
can
a
you
partner,
give me? Right.
And there's more
vested.
win-wins
Absolutely.
created out of that.
Yeah, and Kath can explain a little bit more about how our partnership started and why it's become so powerful.
Sure.
And then we've taken that model and kind of translated it into some other partnerships that we've got.
Right.
So
basically, historically, real estate agents and real estate brokerages have, they refer to everybody that's on the outskirts of the business as vendors.
Right.
And so, we're all taught in real estate school that, you should give out 3 cards and have your vendors, but you're not really vested in that other person so much when you're diluting the options, and you really know there might be one person that's better for the job, but you say, I got to give you 3 or 4 or whatever. And what I found that I never liked is I never got into relationships with people for probably close to 15 years out of my 20 years.
It took that long to get into the relationship.
The reason why is because, not even vendors. I was cautious to refer anybody for anything.
Right.
because number one, it's my
For
brand
good
I'm
reasons,
referring
probably.
with it.
Right.
Yeah. But number two, I really couldn't promise equal business back. And I had an inherent ethical issue
Right.
with give me, and I can't give anything back. So that's not the typical real estate agent lender relationship out there. It's
Right.
what can you do for me? What can you do for me? What can you do for me? And then as soon as there's any type of bump, boom, they move on to the next guy. What can you do for me? What can you do? So I just never liked that. So I never really developed, strong
Which
relationships
makes
with
sense.
anybody.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, finally I got to the point where I'm watching all these relationships out there and there were benefits from it. And I wasn't receiving any benefits either. And I knew I had a lot to give, but it had to be the right people.
Right.
So at that point, I decided, we were shopping for a new lender. We had some issues with our last one. We really weren't super committed to anybody over the long haul. So we were shopping for a new lender. And so I decided now that, being a team too, I'm the CEO and I'm the
You're
face.
the captain.
Yeah, but I'm not
That's right.
necessarily the one
Just working with
that's
them every
got
day.
the buyer in the seat next to me, taking them into cars all the time.
Yep.
So the relationships are happening there. They're not so much happening from me to that buyer because
Sure.
there's somebody between us. So I realized that I have to have buy-in from my team, which is super important to have a partnership type thing work. So I decided I was going to be the first stop of the interview for lenders and make sure all my criteria was met as a business owner, to not hook my people up with the wrong people, to make sure there were certain boxes checked that were important to me. So I went through that round of auditions.
And I would
first.
imagine that you interviewed quite a few people.
I did. I put the
Listen to
word
this.
out
This is
that I was
great.
looking for a new, in-house lender partner, and I was inundated with people. So I started with a
There's
list.
tons of options out there.
Yeah,
Thousands.
Yeah,
There's
thousands.
tons of options.
Yeah.
You can't drive 2
Yeah.
miles without turning on the radio or seeing a billboard
Right.
or an advertisement about somebody wanting to offer
Right.
you a
Well, and
loan or something.
think about how many loan offices are out there, and then think about how many groups, teams are in the top 20 here in St. Louis
Right.
every single year. Top 15,
Right.
15.
not that
Yeah.
many.
So I mean, there's
There's
It's the reason
your
of the
option.
math.
Yeah, right. So this is
Yeah.
a great
So
story.
I decided, this was back when kind of American Idol was big, and
Mhm.
I thought I'm going to do American Idol with my partners.
Right.
And so I started with lenders, and narrowed it down to 30 to begin with. 30 were the top.
Narrowed it to 30.
Wow.
There we
That's
go.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah.
How many did you have on your spreadsheet to start with? Like,
just yeah.
Holy cow.
Just messages and inboxes and everything. So then I probably chopped that down to about 12, and then
Okay.
down to 8 eventually. And then I brought them back to present to my team instead of just me.
Sure.
So
Which is
first,
smart.
they had to get past
Because
me.
then you're bringing in, the culture of the company at that
Right.
point.
Yeah.
Not just
Right.
what can you offer me. It's, hey, here's who we are.
And you have everybody else's perspective on
I love that.
the candidate.
And they all
Right.
helped choose. So they can't be like, you pick, it's like,
Right.
we did.
We did.
We made this decision. So we did that route and had about 8 at that point. I gave everybody a 45-minute window and gave them a time to show up, and we
True
We read it
American
out.
Idol.
Oh,
it really was.
with
We
the
rented
chairs in
out-
the front.
Holy
we
I
rented
cow.
wasn't
out-
in this deal.
He wasn't in this deal. We rented out City Hall
Okay.
and just set up there.
This is an awesome story, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
And so, and it was just kind of evolving as it was happening.
Mhm.
And so then I set my group up, like I had my chairs in a half circle, and
Right.
everybody was out, and then the person would come in
and you were
do their
putting them on the
presentation.
spot.
well, I didn't realize it. It
Holy
was
shit.
such a
Holy shit.
they were.
Oh, people
They
were
honestly
sweating.
were.
Yeah.
And I was like
And
feeling
I'm sure you
sorry
didn't have
for them.
liquor there.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. But yeah, I was like, oh my! I was watching them, and they literally were like their hands were shaking, and they
Right.
were like pacing backward. And then we got backed up a little bit because somebody took
She's
a little too
beast.
long.
Oh, you have no idea.
Yeah. The poor guys that were coming in for the next appointment, they're behind a plate glass window, and they're seeing the guy before of them.
Yeah, right.
That
That
is
guy
so
just did this.
intimidating.
Listen to
Holy
one
Yeah.
guy.
cow.
So we went through all
True
that.
auditions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we narrowed it down to 2 because we
Okay.
decided at the
Now,
time we
were
were
you
going to have
not
2.
in this
He was
group?
not
No.
in this group. We
Pre-Steve.
decided we were going to have 2 people for that lending spot.
Mhm.
So we did that. And that worked really well because everybody had buy-in. And then it was kind of a learning process of who we chose, the reasons we chose them. And then did they work out or did they not work out? And over time, neither one of them ended up working out. After a while, like we tried
But you did. You tried to, that's I think the most important thing to take away for the listeners and the viewers here, is that you didn't just continue on that 15 years process prior.
No.
You said, hey, let's build
honestly,
this partnership.
The reason why I let one of them
wanted to
go.
create that win-win is what I'm kind of assuming, right? Like, you're
and
getting...
that was it. The reason why I had to let one go. One, the guy just...
There wasn't a win-win, right? Somebody was winning and others weren't. I connected with their management team. Mm-hmm. They were awesome. But the loan officers they kept giving us were just falling down on the game. Wasn't working.
Yeah. So that they just didn't measure up.
So they were getting wins because you're passing them a ton of business, but when the customer service wasn't there, you're not winning.
Right. So then the second guy, everybody liked him. We were doing fine and everything. But then, he kind of was solo for about 9 or 10 months because we were waiting to fill that chair again.
Right.
So that's when Steve comes into the scene.
Now, did he pitch you or did you pitch him? How'd that work?
It's another good story.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it. How much time we have? We'll be back next week.
So after all that lender hoopla that had been going on for 2 years now, I have a friend that I did a little radio with her. Steve used to do a little radio with her, but we never did it together. I didn't know who he was or,
I knew who she was.
You knew who she was.
I knew who she was.
So she is calling me, texting me, hey, I have a friend I want to introduce you to. He's a lender at Gershman. And I'm like,
I've been down this road.
Right. It's like, I'm not really in the market. This one guy's doing okay right now.
Cool.
And, just kind of, and every lender in town wants to take you to lunch, wants to,
especially whenever you are doing a lot of transactions like you are, because they know that that's going to be a
source of business,
a lot of business for them.
Absolutely.
And I was kind of just over that, and so I kept kind of putting it off, and she's like, "Come on, he wants to take us to the baseball game." I'm like, "I have season tickets. I don't really care about going to the baseball game." And so she bugged me for probably.
You know why? I was persistent.
Hey,
I kept telling
my favorite
Kelly,
quote: "Persistent, consistent action."
There you go. Yeah. We actually just watched that movie Founder last night, and he said, "This happens for one word: persistence." Yeah, you got it.
I love that.
So I guess
he was persistent,
and then she was
through
persistent.
Through our mutual
friend.
Your friend. Okay. Yeah. So
the radio station then, or
she was on the radio.
Was on, the station.
So she was the conduit from me to her to her. And she kept putting it off. I said, we've got to make this happen. So finally, she said yes.
So begrudgingly, I went to the ball game.
Cool.
Yeah. And so we met, and I actually liked his personality, and we got to talk a little bit about the way he does business and the way he attracts business versus the way I attract business, which were two polar opposite things, which to me was a good thing because then we could blend.
Right.
And then I could tap into his way of getting business, and he could tap into my way of getting business, and maybe we take it up a couple levels.
I love it. You created that win-win.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we were taking, two ends of the spectrum.
We teach that in our course and in all of our podcasts. You always want to find that win-win, regardless of what the relationship is. When I'm going out to meet a seller at a property and I say, hey, I'm not going to pay you full price. I'm going to give you $30,000 less. But you're still winning because you don't want to deal with this property. You live across the country, so on and so forth. So the win-win was established. I love that. It was
established, but then he had to check my boxes.
I had to go through the process.
And
not the American
a city hall thing again.
No, man, it was
probably almost worse.
Probably more intense than that.
So tell me this. How did it go down?
So first we started with a big lunch, right? That was the big one, and his president at Gershman wanted him to do it at the St. Louis Club, which is prestigious, kind of stuffy, high end.
I'm bringing Cottleville over to Clayton.
Yeah.
We're going up into the St. Louis Club. Right. I'm thinking this is a good idea.
Cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
And he's dressed to the nines with his sparkly cufflinks and
Dave.
suit and all that stuff.
You're trying to get new business. I get it.
Yeah.
Right. And my girls are a little more down to earth, I guess.
Right.
So they weren't impressed, to say the least.
Put off.
Put off. That's the word. Yeah. And
Yeah.
not intentionally that
No.
you were, did
No.
anything wrong. I think you just kind of maybe came on hard or came on strong.
Well, what happened was they didn't feel, with all of these cufflinks in the St. Louis club environment, they basically thought that I wasn't going to cater to the $100,000 client like I'd cater to the $1 million client.
Right.
And I
get
tried to convey
Yeah.
that, but I didn't really realize the magnitude of what they were feeling until after our meeting. And then I talked to Kath, and she's like, "You want the good and the bad?" I'm like,
Right.
bring it.
Yeah, because I told them the same thing. I'm like,
Right.
I can like you and want to choose you, but if they don't like you, it's not going to
up
work.
me. Right.
It's not gonna
And
work. I can't deliver.
we're
Right.
trying to accommodate the personalities of 8
Oh,
different
yeah.
women.
Now, let me
at
ask you
that
this. I'm going to back up for 1 second.
Mhm.
Whenever you came out and pitched, you already had a group at that point.
Right.
You had it for
Oh, yeah.
a long,
Yeah,
long time prior.
And a
But
lemon.
did you have a group, or was it just yourself and maybe an
One
assistant?
person.
I had a partner, yeah.
So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
has also allowed you to build out a group and
Oh, yeah.
grow your business.
I've learned a
Which is
lot
amazing.
working with her team on how to grow a team, what
Right.
it takes to service a team. And really, those two do go hand in hand. If you've got a big team, you've got to have a team to service it.
You have
Yeah.
to.
You'll kill yourself. You won't be able to deliver the service that's necessary to
Mhm.
maintain those good partnerships. And
But looking
we
back,
realize that.
would you ever want to go back to not having the team?
No way,
No way.
no way.
And that's something that
No
I
way.
did with my business too. So
Yeah.
there's 4 owners here at this company, and I was wholesaling on my own prior to joining them. And
Yeah.
it's great having 100% of that pie.
Yeah.
It is. It's really great.
Sure,
But if that pie's only a couple crumbs, it's
Right.
you're limited.
And you're
Right.
limited on your time. So
Right.
there's only so much one person can do.
And
Right.
ideas and
Absolutely.
solutions and opportunities. I mean, if you've got 4 people sitting in a room, you're just going to have more ideas and more
Absolutely.
opportunities than if you're just sitting in there by yourself.
right.
Sorry.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, it's taught me a lot. But
Yeah.
so
So that's where we met. And then he had to go through the process with my girls, but he almost had to do it one-on-one because every single one of them was different.
Mm.
And we've already kind of been burned now at this point by trying this with these other lenders, and everything didn't work
It was
out.
quite stressful for the first couple
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
It was a several month process.
Right.
well, I had to hear on the phone after the launch. I thought it went great.
Yeah, of course.
was saying, so what do you think? How'd it go? And she's like, "Wow." And she tells me they didn't like your cufflinks, and that's when she told me that.
That's what the problem.
was one of them.
It was one of them. Yeah.
Wow.
So I had to.
Wow.
Yeah, too flashy. I had to then set meetings up individually with them and
So persistent.
convey to
I
them,
love that.
that we're going to give everybody the same service. Everybody's going to get the red carpet treatment. And, once you were able to sit in front of them, look them in the eye and tell them that, it went a long ways. As opposed to saying, well, you know what, I'm not going to do that.
Sure.
But then he had to maintain those relationships too, because it's very easy.
Which is even harder.
Yeah. To just like, I got the deal now. I'm out and I'm only going to talk with Kathy. He had to
Mhm.
get in the trenches with them and maintain
That's where the
that
team comes in
relationship.
now, though,
Yeah.
because now the team and her team
Mhm.
are working on their own in the
Right.
background. It seems
In the
like,
background,
which is
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still the interactive force, and then my close team that does my personal deals, they interact with their team quite a bit. But yeah, it's been a
So
great partnership.
when we brought him on, so he was chair too
Mhm.
at this point.
Yeah.
We still had that one that was
Mhm.
working
Still there.
okay.
She's still around now?
Well,
No.
he wasn't on for very long.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
So again, it goes back to it's got to be a win-win.
It has to be
And
a win.
so once we added him to the equation, the other guy was, good at getting things to the closing table, and he was fine. We just put that he was fine. But Steve was doing much better on converting. When we would give people both names, they would choose Steve
Oh, cool.
almost every single time.
That's good.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
good for him.
Right.
And the other guy is starting to, choke. Like he's dying on the vine with business because it wasn't that we weren't giving him the opportunity, but he wasn't
He
able to
wasn't
capture that
converting.
opportunity.
Right.
Right.
So at some point in time, it just got to the point where it's like, it's only fair to you because he was invested in, paying for some things monthly with co-marketing things and stuff like that. It's coming out of his pocket. And he wasn't really getting a bunch of deals from it. So we just sat down and talked to him like, this isn't fair for you. I
Right.
see the numbers and it's not
Yeah.
not a
I'm
good
not,
deal
I'm not
for
the
you.
one playing favorites.
Right.
It's the customer.
right.
Well,
My
that's
exact
choosing.
words were, it's not a good deal for you.
and
So
he clearly said
no
he
hard
couldn't
feelings.
compete at that time with some of the things I was offering.
Right.
And
Right.
A lot of it was time, and everybody's in a different place in their life. And I was able to give the time, the service, and, take them out and cater to them. And that was about 3 years ago.
That's awesome. That's
So
awesome.
that's how that started. So the whole partnership thing kind of from there is where the whole experience and our experience network realty our network partners kind of came into play, because I realized when he got more invested with my group and they treated him more like one of our group members
One of the
instead
team
of
members.
Right,
the
exactly.
peon that owes us everything, which
Call
is kind
Steve,
of
we need
Yeah.
something. Now it's
Right.
like, hey, maybe you can help.
Right. No, exactly. And
So then they were more vested in being a bulldog to get those deals for him, because you run across a buyer and they're like, oh, yeah, I've already been pre-approved to Quicken. Or, I have, I bank at Bank of America, so I'm just going to get my loan. There were most agents would go,
let me
okay.
tell you a story about
Yeah.
Quicken and Bank of America.
But most agents are just like, okay, you got pre-approval, that's cool.
Right.
Whereas my girls were so vested in, we all work together, that they're like, let me just tell you something. Like, it's always good to get a second opinion. Would you mind if we let him call you and give you a second opinion?
Sure.
Because we've had some issues with our closings at Bank of America. We've had some issues with, blah, blah, blah.
Big banks are really good at doing the simple banking.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Checking, the ATMs.
They take deposits. They have
Right.
credit
But
cards.
they are not
Right.
the best when it comes to doing the
Lending or real estate.
the
Yeah.
creative side of it in the
Right.
lending. Absolutely. So having a local, smaller bank,
Yeah.
and that's what we teach in our courses,
Yeah.
to our students as well as, in the podcast is find a local bank,
Yeah,
somebody
totally.
that's got 15 or less branches.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the ones to start with.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be more willing to help you and work
Well,
with
they're
you.
more vested in that
And
relationship.
they're more invested in that relationship.
Yeah.
They want the win-win
Somebody,
too. Where,
you're a number out of state.
yeah, like
There is
with our
That's
marketing,
transactional.
If I need to talk to somebody, I have 3 or 4 phone numbers of people that are at a desk.
Right.
It's like Bank of America. Good luck.
Yeah.
800 number
Exactly.
to a random person every time.
Exactly.
It's transactional. I mean, a
It's
bank is
transactional.
institutional, and we're more relationship based.
Mhm.
So, I mean, our reputation means a lot more. So, we're going to answer the phone at 7:00 at night. We're going to answer the phone on the weekends because we understand we're here local, and that's how you get referrals.
And
Love
they've pulled some rabbits out of the hat, because it's not just that one client that they might lose. They're vested in the Kathy Helbig group.
Right.
So sometimes they just, they ate something or they went to bat because it's for the whole sake of the
The big
giant
picture. Right.
Love that.
stuff.
I love that. So whenever you mentioned a couple minutes ago the experience,
Uh-huh.
so I would assume that you have other, not lending vendors, but other, and really, I want to get rid of the word vendor,
Yeah.
partners
Exactly.
for
Partners
other
network.
parts of the business. So I would imagine, let's talk about a couple of these other, if you don't mind. I would imagine you probably have like a staging partner
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
comes in and does the staging, and then you probably have like
Title,
partners, insurance.
We have
Maybe
a few
H-
different building
HVAC.
inspectors. We have HVAC. We have a
Love
few
that.
different
Yeah.
building inspectors. We pretty much want to be that nucleus for our home buyers and sellers to connect them with the people that we know is going to give them our level of service, and that we're not nervous about pairing our brand next to. So when I say
Absolutely.
I'm recommending this guy and they do a bad
You don't want to
job,
call Jim to
they're
come
mad
fix
at me.
the plumbing, and
Right.
then the plumbing doesn't get fixed or Jim
Right.
doesn't show up.
Right.
Right. You want to make sure that you're also creating that win-win, but you're providing value.
Well, I mean,
That's what we teach in our program is, if I'm going into a house and there's another guy coming in to buy that house, my cash isn't any greener than his cash.
right.
But if I can provide more value than
Mhm.
him, then I'm going to win every time,
Mhm.
and vice versa. So I love that.
Well, and partnerships, basically magnify that value
Mhm.
because when you're in a partnership, both sides see the value. A vendor, that's a completely different relationship.
Mhm.
Yeah, so the experience was kind of unveiled at that point in time, and
I love the sign. It was
yeah,
cool.
thanks,
Yeah.
thanks. And we really wanted to create the ultimate buying and selling experience for our customers, because we know that is a really stressful thing to do, both buying and selling. And
Right.
typically, when I go in and interview with people, and they tell me they've sold or bought before, and I ask them what their experience was, it's almost always bad.
Really?
Almost always they have a complaint,
Wow.
and
That's
a lot of
crazy.
times it's the same stuff over and over
So it's
again.
probably easy for you to get testimonials, and if you
Yeah.
go and you can provide that
Yeah.
awesome
And
level of service
not that we
with
don't
that
have
whole
bumps
power
along
team
the way,
of
but
any need
yeah.
that is needed. met.
exactly. But the challenge has been over the years of getting people off that mindset of the individual. Like, I'm hiring you. I want you to do everything.
There's a team there. Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Kathy's not going to be
Right.
at the
It's
Sunday open
She's
house.
not going
There's-
to
It's
help you
not
buy your house.
To their
Right.
advantage to
So how
have
do
me
you,
do
let's
everything.
talk about that. That's a great point. So how do you overcome that?
Mhm.
Because oftentimes when people in my business call me, and I have a team, we have
Right.
4 or 5 junior buyers, I call them, that
Yeah.
when a lead comes in, I say, hey, here's what we'll pay for this in the zip code, go buy it. You have my permission. And then they may talk to me on the phone, though, and then they get upset when I don't show. So it's very similar.
Right.
Yeah.
Whenever they're like, I
Same.
want Kathy to come
Right.
out. So
Exactly.
I'm privileged to have her here with me.
Yeah, right.
But how do you overcome that with those people? There's
Yeah.
got to be a,
I have to set expectations
From
up
the beginning.
front.
It's all about
Yeah.
expectations.
Because I'm the face and I'm the brand, so oftentimes people expect me to do every part of the transaction. And once I explain to them how the team works, that it's basically been a well-oiled machine for years now, and that they're really going to be at a disadvantage if they have me doing some of these things because they're
I
not my
love
forte.
how you position yourself.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean,
But that's so true, though, because there's only 24 hours in a
no,
day.
I can't be
And I
at 5
can't-
places at once.
can't
And
do it.
guess what? Close your ears. Some people, I'm not good at everything.
Absolutely.
I'm not.
But
I might look like I am,
get
but I'm
that,
really
right.
not. I
But you know
fake
what, though? I
Yeah.
love that because if you came here today and you said, I am good at everything, people wouldn't believe you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to put people in place that can do things that you're not good at
Yeah.
or better,
Or that
at
they're
than
more
you.
talented at, or that they're is that more their forte. So that's kind of over the years. I did start out doing it all by myself, and I can do it all by myself. But as real estate evolved, you started doing more transactions. You started having to do more marketing. Like things have changed over the years. So that's where it gets to a point where one person can handle it all for a minute.
For a
And then
minute.
once your business
Whoa.
gets any
It gets
bigger,
To a
big.
certain
Yeah,
size.
you
Right.
not even big, just a little bigger,
Right,
you
right.
have to come
That's a
up
good
with
point.
something, or you start dropping balls. And that
Right.
was always my fear, was dropping balls for people. I never wanted to upset anyone or be the cause of an issue.
Mhm.
So that's why 18 years ago I started, kind of going down that road of let's bring somebody on and they can help me here because this bogs down my time. So I'd rather pay somebody to do this
Right.
and they'll do it well because we're focused on that versus me being like,
Do you mind if I ask some questions about the team?
No,
I'm just curious on how you have it positioned. So you said 12 to 16-ish people. How many people are working on the listings? How many people are working on the buying side? Do you have closing
Sure.
coordinators or do you hire third parties? to
Great
do that?
question.
So what we do is I still love being in the business, even
Me
though
too.
my main job should be working on
All
the
the
business,
business. Right.
but I still have my foot in it.
Mhm.
So I go on almost every listing appointment if I can.
Cheers.
If it works for my schedule or if it's not one of my agent's own referrals, then I go on the listing appointment, I view the house, I talk to them about pricing and set the expectations of what is going to happen,
Okay.
talk about the team, talk about marketing, and then give them tips on what they need to do to prepare their house. So that's the starting point for us. Usually if they call in or something, then my listing manager does a pre-interview because I want to know a bunch of things before I get to that house so I can prepare the right information.
Okay.
A lot of agents don't do that stuff. And I started doing that probably 6 or 7 years ago. And it's so helpful to find, sometimes you get there and you're like, oh, it didn't say in the tax records that the basement was finished. You get there and there's
So you do
there's
your due
things. You do your
diligence.
due diligence.
You know what
You talk
what's
to them
going to
about their
support
motivations,
numbers
everything.
in the area, information
Right.
about the house.
Right. So I come with all that information that's been pulled by my listing manager. So she pulls the data. I review it. I go on the appointment. Then once the appointment is over, the file goes back to my listing manager. She does the listing paperwork. She orders all the timelines. We have all that documented. And then the listing coordinator comes into the picture, which this is a lady who has a background in design. She has a background. She actually had a painting company where she redoes kitchen cabinets and staircases and all that stuff. So she's got a great eye for helping
So
people stage.
what's her role called again?
She's the listing coordinator.
Listing coordinator. Okay.
So she's meeting with the photographer to make sure he's showing up when he's supposed to. She's putting things in our Zillows and our Realtor.coms and all that stuff. And she's meeting with the client as well to walk through their house. Even though I've walked through in the beginning and kind of told them, you probably need to do this, this, and this. She comes back
She's
for
kind of more coaching.
Yeah, she
like
comes
the
back
coach in the
on an
cellar?
appointment. She'll drag the furniture herself if she needs to.
Wow.
So she'll walk in and go, I really think this should not be in this corner. You should put this in this
Declutter,
bedroom.
declutter.
Right.
There you go.
And oftentimes we are having to tell people to paint, to put in new flooring, to change their kitchen cabinets, things like that. And if I were to leave it to the homeowner to do all that on their own, first of all, they get overwhelmed.
It is overwhelming.
And so they get paralyzed when they're overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, they start thinking about, I don't know who to call, I got to get all these bids. And then again, that paralyzes them. And then thirdly,
You
they
always
pick
call
the
me,
wrong
right?
stuff. They pick the wrong things. So if I'm telling somebody that your decorating style
Right.
is not working right now,
It's not going to
but
get you
yet
the
I'm
top
going to
dollar.
have
For
you
the
go
masses.
change it.
Right.
I'm going to have you go change it. You're probably going to pick the same type of things because that's your taste.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to make sure they understand that they're divorcing themselves from their home.
Good way to look at it.
It's now a house. It's a
It's hard to
commodity.
cut
Don't
that
be emotional.
emotional
Yeah,
attachment.
that's
hard.
right.
I've lived here 15
Right.
years and my kids grew
I
up here.
know.
Don't worry about it.
Oh,
Right. I
man,
love
that's
my
probably
emerald green
pretty
carpets.
challenging part of the
You
business
know?
for you
It is.
to go in there and make
It
those.
That's got to be the hardest part because you're telling, if I come into your house, Dave, and I'm like, hey, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work. Those might have been things that you really liked.
That's where our
Right.
businesses are different.
Yeah,
Because when I
exactly.
come in, like, there is none of that. It's we use a one-page agreement when I go and I say, here's what we can pay.
Right.
And then the terms are literally, can we close next week or do we need to wait 3?
Right.
And
Right.
am I going to pay all the closing costs or are we going to split them?
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not in there doing the curtain things.
And see, I
so that's a
explain,
big challenge
it's
on
a
the
huge
retail
challenge.
side.
I explain to agents a lot of times we're trying to evaluate, are they going to be a better listing agent or a better buyer agent? Being a listing agent is very challenging because you're walking into someone's prized possession,
Right.
their most expensive thing that they own. It's loaded with emotions. They've got family and memories and all that stuff. And I have to come in and think about this. I'm interviewing for a job.
You are. Absolutely.
So if you go
Every
on an
time.
interview,
So it's difficult because you don't want to be too aggressive and too, those are ugly ass curtains, for
Right.
So
example.
you can't skirt some things.
Yes, but then at the same point, you want to get the business and list the home,
Right.
and you want to get them the most for the home and
Right.
create that win-win, like we talked
so
about.
I'm sitting across somebody's kitchen table saying, number one, okay, now you've met me, you've walked your house. Here's all the things that I feel like you need to change about your lovely home that you're in love with that a buyer's not going to like. And in addition, it's going to cost you money, which I can tell you almost every single time someone calls me to list their house, they think their pocketbook is closed. They're selling that house. They're done. They're not putting another penny into it.
That's where you come into play.
Move on to the next house. We're going to spend money on our next house. And I have to come in and go, no.
Well, they can. They're not going to get as
They're not going to get it.
and or it's not going to sell.
Exactly.
Yeah, one of the
sell
two.
fast.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
So I have to make them understand that investing a little bit of money is going to return more on the sale and shorten the selling time
Exactly.
or both. So I have to have that conversation with them. And then I got to go in and tell them, you got to pay me X on top of it %. So they're paying me to down their house,
Mhm.
to diss their taste,
Right.
and to tell them they got to spend money on top of it. So it's a really tricky appointment to do, and not everybody can do it. So
Right.
what ends up usually happening is the agents just don't have those conversations.
Mm.
They want to
Then-
get
then
the
it falls
deal
apart.
right.
Yeah.
Because then after
exactly.
65 days on the market, they're getting a call from that seller saying, why hasn't the home
Right.
sold yet?
And that's
So they should have decluttered it 64 days
and
ago.
that's why you got to have people that are focused and great at negotiating listings.
Right.
I mean,
So it's one of these things where you got to kind of come in and be a little abrasive, but that's not necessarily
You got to
a
be
bad thing.
truthful. You
truthful.
got to
Truthful
be
is a better-
truthful,
it's a
but
better
not
way to
abrasive. That's
Right,
exactly what it
because
is.
you're really helping them, even
Yes.
though that they may not like that conversation.
wanna
that's
hear it.
It's in the
had.
delivery.
It's all
It's in the delivery,
Yeah.
right? But really, you're just trying to help.
Exactly.
You're saying,
Right.
Right.
my goal as I'm not an agent, but I would imagine that your goal as the agent is to get them the most for the home
Shortest
get
amount of time.
and sell it in the fastest time. So the
Mhm.
shortest amount of time.
Here's how we're going to do it. Trust me, and let's go.
Right.
So by having that team helps a lot too. So
Right.
you
So
like
my
to go on
girl,
those appointments.
I go on those appointments. That listing coordinator comes back over because many, many, many times we have to at least repaint something. So she'll bring the
What would you say the
swatches.
percentage of times?
Oh, there's probably paint involved at least 50, 60% of the time. I mean,
And this is a random
several
question.
rings. Several rings.
What would you say the average dollar amount that you're able to get the seller to spend? Is it like $2 or $3 or like 5 to 8 or more?
No, it's usually not
Just
that
a couple
much
thousand,
unless
right?
we're
It's not
talking
a lot.
luxury home. And it depends on
Right.
if we have them fully staged or if we're just
That's a good point.
doing
So that
some
could be a couple
touch-ups.
thousand alone.
Right. So typically, painting budgets are going to be anywhere from probably $400 to $2,000, depending on if we're painting a whole entire interior or something or not. And then a lot of times we're jumping on that kitchen cabinet paint right now because so many people.
It's so easy to paint.
It
cabinets,
is.
and it
Changes
makes it so much
and
better.
it's
Completely
trendy.
different room now.
So 10 or 15 years ago, it was like considered like you painted over the wood. Oh my
Right,
gosh, it's
right.
cheap,
Right.
that type of thing. Now it's like that's what everybody wants. So everybody that's in that window right now, take advantage and paint your kitchen cabinets because that's the trend
That's
for
the
right
trend.
now.
Absolutely.
So when we walk in and see, old oak cabinets or that whitewashed, kind of pinkish type thing, where I'm thinking, I got to get these people to spend anywhere from $1,500 to $2,400, depending on how big their kitchen is, to paint these
You know
cabinets.
what we do a lot, and I imagine you do too, is when we go into the bathrooms that are pink or orange or blue or green with the old
Yeah.
tile,
Tile
instead of ripping all that out, you can just have the whole thing glazed.
glazed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you're maybe spend $800, $1,200,
Exactly. That's
$1,500,
well worth
$2,000
it.
at the most. I mean, it's really not that
It's
much.
well worth it.
Compared to spending $5, $8,
Yeah.
Oh,
$10
yeah.
on that bathroom,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
So we're there actually physically picking samples for them, which I want to take. We're kind of like the concierge service. We take that monkey off their back that's paralyzing them because they're thinking, I don't know who to call number one. I don't know what to pick number two. And then when they don't know what to pick, then they're going to paint everything white, which is the exact opposite of what we want
white's
to do.
not
Because then that looks like rental properties.
right.
So
It's not
we
more
don't-
when you walk in.
right.
Yeah.
Sterile.
It's very sterile. So Teresa, our girl, will come over and get the paint swatches out and be like, here's what I think you should do. And da, da, da.
But I think a lot of value that you're providing, not only with having her on the team to come do that with the seller, so that's the customer, but also you're saying, here's the painter that we use or a list of
Right.
painters.
Yeah.
And
That's the
you need to put
experience.
some tile,
Right.
here's a list, and if you don't want to use them, fine,
Right.
great.
Right.
Exactly.
However, we've had nothing but great reviews on everybody from the lender to the tile blazer.
Right.
Sure.
And
Right.
we
No
can
one
make that
has to
experience.
use our people.
Right.
I have to say that.
But
We're
you're
not
providing
forcing
them
them
to
to,
them,
but
and I
we're
think a
saying,
lot
here's
of
who we have the best experiences with. So here's our list. If I were you, I'd call them.
I'd call them.
Here's the reason why.
Right.
Yeah.
Love that.
And for me, it's not really about, oh, he's my buddy or he's paying for something or whatever. That stuff is so minimal.
It is.
It's not really worth it.
Right.
You don't get into a relationship with somebody because they're gonna sponsor your lunch one
Yeah,
day.
or even kickbacks.
You know,
That's irrelevant
right,
too. But to you, the win is that you've created value for your customer,
Right.
and to where you can do, like I said earlier, you can get them the most for their home
Exactly.
and sell it fast.
It's going to
Yeah.
create referrals.
And it
It
helps
will
me.
create
It
referrals.
helps me keep control of the whole situation because as an agent, we're kind of the puppet masters of the entire transaction. But in reality, we don't have control of the entire transaction, but we're expected to.
You
So
are
we're
expected to.
expected
Because,
to.
so I have a love-hate relationship with agents.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes they get in my way as a cash buyer investor.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
oftentimes they're my best friend. And so it just kind of depends
Catch
on the
22.
Right. And I'm never rude or mean to them, but
Right.
oftentimes I'll just tell them, like, listen, here's what I'm willing to offer, or if I need to go straight to the homeowner, then I will, and I'll still pay you. Just get out of my way.
Right.
And it happens. Other times I'll say, listen, I'll pay you the full 6%.
Yeah.
I have agents and brokers in my office. However, through that, I want you to make all that commission.
Let's do it.
Put the offer in. Here's where I'm at. And oftentimes, they'll take my offer over somebody else's offer that may be higher just because they want the 6% commission. And
That
that's just creates that extra
that with us, it's more we know the stuff's going to get done. So when I'm the puppet master and I'm going to be, the whipping boy at the end of the deal when something goes wrong, even though it wasn't anything that we did, it was our transaction that something happened. So when they have a bad taste, you're included in that bad taste, and they don't typically come back to you again later or refer you people.
Right.
So, so what we're doing with, I just lost my train of thought. What were we just talking about?
Talking about
Partnerships
with the people that are coming in and helping.
Controlling the deals we're talking about. So I find if they at least use a few people off of our list, then I know those people are committed to doing a good job for me because they know they get a lot of business.
Well,
from
they're
me.
not going to screw it up because they're
Right. I'm not going to be low man on the totem pole. Right. And so not for any other reason other than each piece of that transaction is being handled appropriately so that the whole piece that I'm controlling doesn't go down the drain.
Love that.
And that's really what people need to understand why we refer people is for that reason mainly, because we're protecting the whole entire deal.
You're helping them out.
When somebody goes and uses a lender that I've never heard of before or closing at some weird
oftentimes you can't
title
control
company,
but that screws up the deal sometimes.
it completely does because they don't know our expectations. They don't care sometimes about our timelines and deadlines. He's heard me gripe, I don't know how many times about that. I had love-hate relationship with lenders because they know their little part of it, but they are really clueless on the real estate part of it for the most part. And the problem is they're weaved into the real estate part of it.
No, but the ironic thing is we thought we knew. I've learned.
You've learned.
But, before I, really partnered up with Kathy, I thought I knew what the real estate agent wanted to hear.
Right.
Hey, here's what we got. And then I'd, give my elevator speech and I'd think everything is awesome. Well, you know what? I was saying things that they didn't want to hear.
Right.
There were a couple other things that I could say that would be much more powerful. I just need to think like them. And once I was able to work with her team and figure out how they think and how they operate, you can talk to almost any real estate agent and they're like, wow, you're reading my mind.
You get it.
Yeah,
right.
You get it.
I'm not selling on yours.
No, I'm not selling. I'm helping you. Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
And you know what the expectations are. And I am very, very, I'm kind of a contract Nazi. I want to make sure everything is being done in the time it's supposed to be because when it's not, our people are at jeopardy. And I can't allow that. So when we're dealing with somebody that's out of state and those timelines, first of all, they barely know them for the most part. They are very lackadaisical about them. They're like, loan commitment, we're probably going to need to push that off a week. We're probably going to need to, the afternoon that we're supposed to get it type thing.
We need it now. Yeah.
Right. Or, we're probably going to need to push closing 3 or 4 days. It's no big deal. And it's a huge deal.
Yeah, right.
And they don't really think about that. So that's where...
so here, back to the team though. So you love going on listing appointments. You like being in the business. I love that. I think that's great. And then you have the girl that comes in kind of behind you, you would say, that coaches them and brings the color palette.
Getting that property
essentially brings the list of the power team and says you need to do this and that.
Right.
Offers the staging, so on and so forth. And then do you have other people that are out in the field also?
Yes.
Doing
So my listing manager is kind of still back behind the scenes. So she's the girl who is overseeing all the data. We're pulling the analytics. We're watching if our showings are going up or showings are going down. What is the feedback? And then she's receiving the offers and things that are coming on the property as well. So she's kind of our bulldog negotiator.
Yeah, one person does it?
One person does that. Yeah.
But see, that's the thing is she's got a team and she has experts in each different department.
So I wouldn't have my girl that comes in and does the color negotiate contracts.
No way.
She's so soft and sweet. She's
not her deal.
That she would fold when you're going to negotiate.
Right.
Whereas my listing manager, I don't really like to send her in to pick things up because she's like, those curtains like shit.
Right.
Yeah. So but she's great at that role of negotiating.
Yeah.
And she's quick on her feet and she's quick with comebacks. So when somebody's hitting you with something on why they think your house is worth less than it is, and she right away can come back with it. So it just all works really well because I'm kind of the celebrity for them to come in and open the door. Then we've got this person that will lay down backwards and be at their house until midnight. Sometimes I have to play Sapiens.
Right.
We got that person. We got Kelly, that's the bulldog. So all together we make a really good team on that listing side. Then once it goes under contract, I pull the file from the listing manager because her job's over. and it goes to our closing manager.
Mhm.
So she's a
So they're
licensed attorney.
coordinating the closing from
Right.
that point on,
From that
all
point
the way to the finish.
So she's got a
probably
real estate
working with lenders
license,
and whatnot.
and
That's on the buy side.
On the
We
buy
haven't got
Okay.
to the
it's on
buy
the
side.
sell side, yeah.
Mhm.
So then she finishes out the deal with the timelines of when inspections are happening, when the appraisal's coming in, like all that stuff. So she does that all the way to closing, dealing with the title company,
Now,
getting contracts.
Whenever that
done.
file's passed, and then you have the inspections coming in, there's negotiations that may happen there. Does that go back to the
Kelly's still
bureau?
negotiating the contract and the building
Got it.
inspections.
Okay.
So, and so then Amy takes it over to closing, and that's pretty much our listing side of it. Then the whole buyer side of it is
Completely different animal.
Yeah.
So it is. The different animal.
Personalities are different.
Personalities are
I
different.
mean,
They've got to
what
be-
you're doing is completely different.
Right.
People like to
So
see
you got
homes.
more people on the buying
Yeah,
side.
for sure.
Yeah.
So they're taking people out,
For sure.
showing them the
Right.
property, so on and
Yes.
so
So
forth.
we have multiple
And
buyer
you're
agents.
really catering.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
You know,
part of
I
that
always
deal.
tell people, I'm not an agent. I've taken the test twice. I've never sent the paperwork in because there's advantages in my business to not be an agent. And I always tell people, like, if you're on the buyer's agent, you're earning that money.
Mhm.
You're working really hard for it because
Think about it.
you may take somebody to one house they buy, that's great, but that doesn't happen every
No.
time. If very often.
Well,
at all.
especially in this market right now, for a buyer agent to get a deal, sometimes they're writing 3 or 4 or 5 contracts with somebody before they actually get one that goes through
Let alone
because
showing them
everybody else is being
10 to
knocked.
15 houses per contract property.
Yeah, per
Right.
contract, exactly.
Yeah,
But
it's
you
hard.
also
It's hot right now.
think about the timing of when people can go see homes.
Yeah.
It's at night because people work during the day, and it's on the weekends.
Yeah.
So buyers agents, have to have that schedule.
Yeah, they're not really working the 9 to 4, 9 to
No,
5 Monday
no.
through Friday.
That's kind of when they're
It's weekends and
Yeah.
really
doing
just
sick
at
work.
will. whenever
But-
the
Yeah.
But
buyers
on
go.
the flip side, they're also the heroes. So it's a very different relationship between, as a listing agent, between me and my clients. There's hopefully, usually, a respect level there.
Of course.
But there's not that, let's go have drinks after, we do this type of thing. It's a business
It's a
transaction.
business.
Yeah.
For the
Right,
most
right.
part. Because I am telling them things that aren't making them feel cushy about me. I'm telling them, having hard conversations with them, and I'm a business person to them. Whereas the buyer agent, they're buddy. Number one, they're not paying them.
right.
See,
Right.
there's that little
Paid by
bit-
the seller.
there's something about,
They're not
something about
paying
the fact
Yeah.
that they got to
Sellers
pay
are-
People don't
high
think about that.
percentage that people
That's a
begrudge.
great
Even
point.
if you do a fabulous job,
And I know that, but I
They'll
didn't even
begrudge
think of that.
that.
Well, if you're a listing agent, people look and they say, "This is what you're getting paid, 6%." Well, no, not really. It's getting split 17
They-
ways.
It does.
You know?
It's little
It
wild.
does.
But the
They got
buy
paid
side,
this,
they don't
massive
see
amount of
that.
money out.
Right.
So they're not paying them because that comes out of the listing commissions of whatever house
That's a
they
good
buy.
point. Yeah.
So already there's a different type of atmosphere to it. And then they're excited about buying. Oftentimes people are selling under duress, or they're selling because somebody died, or they got a divorce, or
I deal with
there's not,
90% of my
yeah,
business.
there's not
Yeah,
all,
I
it's
bet.
not all exciting, happy moods. And even if it is, it's stressful to pack up your house and do all
It
those
is,
things. It's
yeah.
more fun to go buy than it is to sell.
And it is so.
So those buyer agents, although they are having to
That's
show a
your
lot of
wholesale.
houses, right. They are creating friendships a lot of times,
Right.
and they connect with the people, and it's just a totally different
Sure.
feeling. And so they end up after the deal being more, sending in these great reviews, and I love her, and they refer business a lot
Right.
because that was more of a friendship type.
So let me ask you this. Do you get feedback more about, man, you guys worked so hard to help me sell this home? Or, wow, you guys worked so hard to help me find this home? I know it comes in from both sides, but where do you feel like that you are getting more positive feedback from? And again, I know it's coming in from both sides.
Yeah, I think we probably, it depends on the people,
But, right.
If somebody was working and just showing them house after house after house, and they fight for this contract, which in this market they are,
Right. It's hard
and
not to.
I have to pat my girls on the back, and about 90% of the time that we're in multiple offer situations, we win because I list so many houses. I know what I want to see when I get a contract come in, so I teach them how to write the offers to get that listing agent to want to take that offer.
Right.
So unless usually,
Little tips of the trade.
Or add a personal letter that
Right.
really pulls at their heartstrings.
Right.
You know, it's
Yeah.
that stuff wins.
Inspections,
right. So unless it's just a money factor, our buyer couldn't go any higher and somebody else just blew them away. You know, we can't control that. But if we're in neck and neck with somebody,
You guys
we win.
You win.
we
I
win.
love it. That's awesome.
So that's good. So we get to in that type of situation, you might see somebody rave about the buyer side of the experience.
Sure.
The listing side, it tends to be short-lived. So you get that, oh my God, you guys are amazing. You came in and helped me do all this. You picked my paint the house. It's great. It makes me want to buy my own house. It looks so
Right.
good. I get that all the time.
Right.
Or our marketing materials, oh my gosh, it makes me not want to sell. We're like, stop that.
That's what I was gonna say.
Well, in today's
Yeah.
market,
Yeah.
I've been seeing them get reviews though. Oh my God, they put the house on the market, sold in 2 hours.
Amazing.
Yeah.
See, that's a good review.
It's a good review.
Great review.
But
Yeah.
there's still
But that's our
that
market
rub
we're in too.
of, I had to pay you X%.
Right.
You know,
And-
still that there that
Yeah.
rubs
Did we
people.
get enough?
Yeah,
You know, it's
especially
like
on the higher dollar homes, 60%, even if you reduce it down a little, on $1 million house, it's 60,000.
Oh yeah.
What they don't always understand, like you were saying, is it splits a lot of different ways.
And it costs money.
And it's
Like
not always 4 ways. Sometimes they can do 5, 6, multiple ways.
Well-
Well, we're getting paid, little fees here and there.
think about photography. People don't understand that's an
It
expense.
comes out.
Think about all these little things.
Right.
The staging, it's
Right.
expensive.
Mhm.
It
So-
really is.
So yeah, so as far as we do get good reviews, and I think people are ultimately happy, but not every single seller does a backflip to give us the money. They
Right. Well,
appreciate the job that we
luckily, you
do.
don't invoice it. It just
Right.
you get paid it close.
Right.
Track it down for you. Right. I love it.
Yeah.
Kathy, thank you so much for giving us a quick breakdown on what your business is, and we're getting to about 55 minutes.
Wow.
Steve, if we could maybe take 5 or 10, just a quick talk about your group.
Sure.
Because I'm just curious. So again, I want the listeners and the viewers here to learn about having these partnerships.
Yeah. I mean, we
So-
can run through it a little bit. We
How many people
really
on the team? Start there.
we've got 11 people on the team.
11 people.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And like I said, we should be around 15 this summer.
Amazing.
And that's a big team. It's a big team within our group. And we kind of followed the real estate model. So real estate agents started building these teams. Well, Kath
Sounds
was
like you got a coach.
kind of like a pioneer. I tell you what, she has been a coach on
That's awesome.
many levels, and
Yes.
it's
I have
helped
a
out.
coach. You gotta have a
Yeah.
coach.
So, as my business grew, I added somebody.
Mhm.
This was about 4 or 5 years ago. So then as the business grew even more, we figured out we needed to add some more people.
Sure.
And just like Kathy's team, we've got people that specialize in each part of the transaction.
Love it.
So when a buyer comes in, they need to get pre-approved, right? That's me.
So you have a role that just does the pre-approval.
Yeah, but so what I do is I talk to the client. I figure out what their ultimate needs and goals are. We figure out how to structure a deal. We get them pre-approved. I analyze the credit report. And basically, after I take the application, have that initial discussion with the client, I again set the expectations and say, look, from this point on, my partner Shannon and my head processor Kelly, they're going to be in touch with you about the paperwork.
Yeah, don't call me anymore because it's not my role.
Right.
I'm the face, like Kathy said, I'm the face, but somebody else does it better.
I present it in a
That's-
way,
I love
yeah, exactly, that says they can get you an answer faster than I can,
Right.
and they know the paperwork better than I do. I'm here to,
Answer in the file.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
Right.
but my phone is always on for you. My door is always open.
Sure.
So you don't have just me working at this point. You don't just have Shannon at this point and Kelly at this point. You have all of us the entire time because there are questions for each part of it.
So the file gets moved once you do the pre-approvals.
Basically, I take the application, I talk to the client. After that, I give the story to my team.
Mhm.
And I say, here's the deal with this client.
Mhm.
This is what they're trying to do. This is where they're purchasing. Here's their down payment. Here they have a hiccup in their credit. We need to kind of look at this situation. And then it goes to them. They basically analyze everything. They collect the documentation. They get it processed. They get it through processing to the underwriting. Underwriting then comes back with conditions every single time.
Now, are you guys, so I don't know the business. like
Sure.
you, obviously. Are you brokering or do you?
No, we're
have
mortgage
your
banker.
mortgage bank, which
Yeah.
that helps because the underwriting's in-house.
Everything's
It's all
in-house.
in-house.
Yeah.
Which is one of my criteria.
That streamlines the process too,
Yes.
because it's not like you're calling and you're getting the 800 number and
Right.
so
Dave,
on and so forth.
I mean, the mortgage business has changed so much in the last, let's call it 10 years, that clients can get perturbed because there's a lot of paperwork, but with a lot of paperwork comes a lot of issues that come up and questions that come up.
Yeah.
So it's super important for us to be able to go walk to our processing department, to walk to our underwriting department, to walk to our closing department. We even have our in-house attorneys.
I love it.
I mean, everything is under one roof. So we can, basically take care of these issues right away, as opposed to big banks we were talking about earlier. You might have processing in North Dakota and your closings in Florida. Right.
The file doesn't just go across the hall. It's getting emailed or
it's not going to affect them if you don't close on time. Me, it affects me. I mean, it affects me mentally, personally, and it affects our, reputation here in town. So, as we grew, we specialize in each part of the transaction. It makes our process that much smoother. And that's why we're able to do so many deals, and we do get good reviews. And it's a completely different.
How many different types of products do you offer? I mean, I know it probably varies based on the person, their credit, the amount of money that they're making, if they're W-2 person. And I know so many variables that come into play.
We deal with 15 different investors on the conforming side. So any loan amount that's under $424,100, we have 15 different investors. And when I say investors, I mean big banks like Chase, Wells Fargo, BB&T,
so they
Freedom.
all have different products, I would imagine, too.
Products and underwriting criteria.
Holy cow.
So no pun intended, but we can pretty much find a home for every loan.
You can make it right.
Yeah,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Cool.
So when you go to a Bank of America or you go to one of those big banks, they have this box. They have this right. They have this box, and if you don't fit in that box, then you're gonna get denied.
Right.
Okay, so you come to us, you don't fit in this box, we're gonna go over here.
Sure.
We're going to see if it fits in this box. We also sell directly to Fannie and Freddie. We've got 12 investors on the jumbo side. Like I said, we've got 3 programs with 0% down. So, I mean, we pretty much have everything you can imagine as far as programs are concerned. But, everybody's got rates. Everybody's got fees. Okay, great. But it really comes into the service, and it comes into trusting the person that you're working with.
Sure.
And we really try and build that trust, not only through the conversations that we have, but also by keeping our word. If I say I'm going to answer my phone after 5 and on the weekends, I'm going to answer my phone after 5 and on the weekends.
Absolutely.
And, that goes a long ways. And then later on, we become friends with a lot of our clients because we helped them out in a situation that they needed.
I love it.
Yeah.
Kathy and Steve, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Absolutely. If you are listening or viewing us and you're in the St. Louis area and you're looking to list your home, you're looking to buy a home, Kathy, how would they reach you? Is there like an email?
KathyHelbigGroup.com is our website, or 314-276-SOLD is our number too.
Awesome. And that's the listing and the buying side. Love that. And you're also a broker.
Correct.
So if you're an agent and you're listening and you're looking for a new home,
coaching, we're the place.
Kathy Helbig is the place to go.
That's right.
And see, how would somebody reach you in the event that they're looking to, it wouldn't just be a person that's looking to buy and move into a primary residence. It could be an investor that's looking to buy
investor, second home. Yeah.
Area too, as well.
We do all that. And you know what? Even if you're not ready to buy today, call us and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions or maybe get you in position to buy that dream home that you want. You can catch me at thestrickgroup.com, or you can call Gershman at 314-889-0659.
Awesome. So we'll have that in the show notes as well. The emails and the phone numbers.
Very good.
Again, thank you so much for coming in today, guys.
Thanks for
I
having
learned a ton. I know that.
Yeah.
Always want to provide value to the listeners and the viewers. Guys, again, don't forget, check out the first 10 to 15 podcasts. Learn how to wholesale, freewholesalecourse.com. Also check us out at discountpropertyinvestor.com. You're looking to buy wholesale deals in the St. Louis area. You can subscribe to our emails at the top right-hand corner of that website. And Steve, you had said a quote earlier. You always in an episode with the quote. I really like this quote, by the way. So let's hear it. What's the quote?
Respect isn't given until it's earned. I learned that a long time ago, and I feel like it applies to everything you do every day.
And I think it applies a lot to the partnerships too.
Absolutely.
You have to create that win-win, and you have to get that respect.
And then you got to keep it.
And you
got to keep it.
That's right. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in today. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to help us reach a wider audience. We would also appreciate it if you left us a review on iTunes or Stitcher. Thanks in advance for your support. And remember, you make your money when you buy, and get paid when you sell. Now let's go build some wealth.